What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to another Best Bet show. It is officially Turkey Day. It's the good morning, the morning where you could eat whatever you want, feel however you want, do whatever you want, and feel no guilt, remorse, whatever you want to call it. And we get to watch football. And honestly, 3 games staggered out through the whole day. Bears and Lions at 12:30 if you're on the East Coast, which is the only time zone that really matters. Bears Lions 9.5 point spread could be an ugly game. That's going to be while you're still greeting everyone on in the background type stuff. Those appetizers, the cheese, whatever. It's good. Don't get me wrong, but it's not the main course. Then we have the Giants and the Cowboys with the New York Football Giants, which are my team, unfortunately, with our new QB1 in Drew Lock versus the Cowboys QB1 in Cooper Rush. Should be an ugly one too, but that's kind of at 4:30. Everyone's eating dinner. Maybe you're pulled away from the TV. Maybe your family does the no football on while the TV's here. Maybe your family's cool and you can watch whatever. But either way, this is the ugly game. We're going to kind of not watch it. It is what it is. It's just there in the background. And then we have the Dolphins and the Packers, which should be a fun one to watch. And that's the nightcap. You could be woken up from your first nap. That was the Giants-Cowboys game or right after. And now you're like, let me see Tua versus Jordan Love. Two good football teams going at it. What's up? How's it going, brother? And you got a lot of good stuff today. So a lot of good spots for bets. I will go through what I am on as well. It's Bears versus Lions. Okay. Bears versus Lions. Bears on the road. The good thing about the Lions and the Cowboys games is that they are played in domes, and then we get the fun cold weather, maybe some snow in the late game, but we're seeing reports that the snow probably will hold off. That's speaking of what about the weather in the pack. Apparently it's not that crazy. But I don't think it's gonna be like the Browns Steelers game that we saw. But it should be nice cold weather, freezing, that sort of thing. I'm looking at the latest reports now. I'll get to that point later. We do have the Bears and the Lions, and that's what we should be talking about. I guess I could share my screen here. Let's do that. Let me do present. Let me go over here, share my window, and we'll share this. Let me move this over here. And this is what we're on today. We're on DeAndre Swift under 13.5 rush attempts. Let me clear my banner out of here with the rookie I am in here. Okay. DeAndre Swift under 13.5 rush attempts. Now, I was doing my research last night on my handy dandy notebook. You guys can't even see. Can you guys see that? You see how horrible that doctor handwriting is? Probably not. Basically, it's showing in wins. I went back. I looked at wins that the Lions played in. And the only wins that the Lions played in where the running back went over this line, it was Joe Mixon, Tony Pollard, Aaron Jones at 14, and then Kyron Williams at 18. Again, Kyron Williams is going to be at 19.5 line, 18.5 line every week. So really him and Pollard and even Mixon, I'm really not worried about because those lines would never be available for those guys regardless. But in wins by 7+, so by 7+ points, remember it's a 9.5 point spread. It is divisional. It is Thanksgiving, short week. Could be close. I still think the Lions do win by 7. Maybe the Bears keep it within 10, but the way the Lions have been playing, who the hell knows? They've had 7 wins by 7+ points. They've only allowed one running back to go over in those dominant wins, and that was, again, Tony Pollard. James Conner had 9. Dowdle had 5. Walker had 12. Etienne had 12, and that was when Bigsby didn't play. Jonathan Taylor, 11. And we know the strength of this Lions defense is the run game. They are a funnel to wide receivers. They allow a ton of passing yards, allow a ton of wide receivers to do damage. And that's both in part because their run game is so stout, but also because they're beating the hell out of the teams. And when they're beating the hell out of teams, they're forced to throw the ball. And also, when you look at their snaps by week, and I could just show you guys this for guys I don't really know where to find some of this stuff. I check a little bit of snap counts when I want to. Here we can see DeAndre Swift. We could see his game log, etc. But you can see his snaps by week right here, right? I don't know if you guys can read that. And hold on, let's see. You can see his snaps by week. And Roshan Johnson, although we only had 2 rushes last week, only played in 10 less snaps. And now again, he's the third down back. He's probably going to be a goal line-ish back, but he's a third down back, 3rd and 7 coming on the field. Giving Swift that rest. Swift is still a pass catching back, but also since the offensive coordinator changed, the Bears have been kind of playing more designed quick passes, screen plays, but letting Caleb Williams throw the ball, but also allowing Caleb Williams to run. He's rushed a lot in the last few weeks as well. So who said that? I think Buzz said that in the comments. Caleb Williams over rushing yards. This is a strong lean I have. It's at 30, I think, 30 and a half around there. I kind of like doing a 25 plus in like a parlay if you're going to make one. I'm going to make an SGP for every game. It'll be available in the huddle. But I will do a touchdown parlay and probably over the course of an all-day parlay as well, and that might be on there. I'm going to put these props here as we go along. Caleb Williams rush yards is on there. You talk about what Caleb Williams has done, and he's put together 2 decent weeks. I mean, the Bears have lost a lot of games, but the last 2 weeks, they've been in one-possession games, overtime, and I think they lost by 1 or 3 points the week before that. And DeAndre Swift only had 14 and 13 rush attempts, so consider what the game script will be like if they're losing. I kind of feel like that's a great spot, and it kind of goes hand in hand. I spelled that wrong. Come on. Coming out. Romo Dunze over 3.5 receptions. He's getting a ton of targets. Again, his A dot has been lower. Now, for guys who don't know what A dot is, it's your average depth of target. So when you see a guy's A dot of 16 yards on average, that means he's only getting targeted down the field. Usually you take those guys like longest reception props or yards. You don't really touch his receiving receptions. Guys like that are Dontavian Wicks, Jamison Williams. You take their yards over their receptions simply because their A dots they're a deep ball threat. Mike Williams is in that aspect as well. Odunze was kind of that guy with the old coordinator and when they were kind of just getting started, but now we see more design plays to Odunze within 10 yards, some screen plays, some short passes. Same with Keenan Allen. Keenan Allen and Odunze, pick your poison in that regard. I think they're both great spots. I think both them do cover. Maybe even Caleb Williams passing yards as well with that game script. But that's the way I kind of see this game unfolding. We saw Odunze go over his receptions last week and not his yards, and it's kind of due to that dynamic changing. Now, you will say, where are the Lions props? Right? Where are the Lions props? Well, they're going to be in the lottos and all this stuff, but this game could get out of hand. Dave Montgomery is probably playing. Jahmyr Gibbs is going to be an absolute smash spot. Everyone's playing the Dave Montgomery old team touchdown. I get it. I do get it. But, these odds are criminal. When you look at touchdown scores, I think Amon-Ra at plus money is a good spot. Just had his touchdown streak ended. I think it was last week. Didn't score a touchdown. But I think he had 7 or something weeks in a row of scoring a touchdown. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 8-game streak. Now it's broken. At home, he scores a ton. At home, Jared Goff loves to throw the ball. They also score a million touchdowns anyway. So you're going to get whatever looks you kind of want. You could play Gibbs. Gibbs is getting better, obviously, because if Montgomery's banged up, Gibbs is going to get the rock. Just point blank, period. So you look at their rush yards. And this is kind of a good spot to see. Dowdle. Oh, I'm not Dowdle. Jahmyr Gibbs 76.5. Montgomery 53.5. Williams is kind of creeping up a little too far here, but it is what it is. I think the Lions props are pretty much priced exactly where they should be. Maybe Gibbs gets a little more rushing attempts if Montgomery's a little more what's the word? Banged up. Jahmyr Gibbs a 19.5 longest rush. Again, there's too many things here. I do like passing touchdowns, Jared Goff to probably go over. Caleb Williams has never thrown a pick in forever, but he's probably due to throw an interception. Again, the Lions props are good for parlays, good for touchdown stuff, but as far as the overall play goes, I think I'm just going to let it be and let that one slide. So that's that for that game. Now we're going to go over to the Cowboys versus the Giants. QB1, Drew Lock. Don't know what we're going to expect. So I'm not even going to go there. I'm assuming Malik Neighbors is in the locker room as he's already in the film, and he's already in the press conferences and the interviews saying that he wants to get the ball. It's ridiculous that he's not getting the ball. I'd assume Drew Lock feels some sort of pressure to get him the ball. That's the way I see it. That's the way everyone should see it. But you never really know with this Giants team what the hell they're going to do. You got passing yards line of 194 for Drew Lock, 213.5 for Cooper Rush. Now, is Drew Lock pissed that he wasn't the QB2? Because he was the QB2, but they let DeVito start. I personally think it's the Giants' active tank, which is why they let DeVito start. Maybe they thought they'd get a little more fans, jersey sales with the whole Tommy Cutlets stupid thing. But Drew Lock, I think, struggles. I do think he's a better quarterback than Tommy DeVito by far. But Cooper Rush, off of a big win last week, I feel like they've been kind of getting a little more chemistry. If Brandon Cooks is back, could take away from CD and his stuff, and his lines are too high. But I do think 6.5 receptions is still fair. It's a little juice now, but this is a good spot for a parlay piece. I like it a lot. He's going to get a ton of looks, a lot of short passes. I mean, Cooper Rush is just feeding this man the rock, as he should. Jake Ferguson's ruled out. So a ton of stuff coming from that. But I do think I'm on Brandon Aubrey field goal props. Okay, let's just get to the meat and the potatoes here, the turkey and the potatoes. Look at the Brandon Aubrey field goals line, 2.5. 2.5. And Graham Gano's at 1.5, both at plus money. Now, when you go to over here to field goal yards, longest field goal made, I got 47.5 on 365. I'd probably still take a 48.5. Anything up to 49.50 is probably where I'd go. Field goal total, over 3.5 field goals is kind of fire as well. Longest field goal made, I got this at minus 105. Cowboys, minus 130. This is what you're going to do on Thanksgiving. You're going to go to your house or go to your aunt's house, your grandma's house, your mom's house, wherever's house it is, and you're going to say, guys, I'm paying for Thanksgiving this week or this year. I'm paying for everybody because you want to know why? We have the biggest lock of the century. That's Brandon Aubrey to just kick an absolute moonshot. Get everyone around, have one watcher, just watch the game, and just whenever Brandon Aubrey's about to kick a field goal. Bring everyone over. You watch Brandon Aubrey just sink that sucker from 150 yards. Everyone's happy. Everyone's cheering. Congratulations. You are now the Thanksgiving hero, and you paid for Thanksgiving. That is what is going to be on the menu for my Thanksgiving. I'm giving you a free pass to take it for yours as well. Okay? That's pretty much what I'm betting in that Cowboys game. I have it right here. Cowboys longest field goal. Longest field goal over 47.5. One spot I do like is not on DraftKings, but they do have a line. 150. They do have a line, and that is this. You guys may think this is ugly. It's only on a few books, and that's this right here. CeeDee Lamb over 2.5 rushing yards. And before you say, oh, that's an ugly bet, we cashed the 1.5 last week or 2 weeks ago. It's still 2.5. Again, it's on MGM, Caesars, Bet365, and Hard Rock. I think Underdog has this as well. You look at CeeDee Lamb's game log, and he's rushing the ball a ton. Cooper Rush, they want to get him involved, right? So you look at this. He has gotten 2 yards twice and 1 yard once last week, which is the scare. But again, 2 rushes versus the Falcons, 3 rushes on Thursday versus the Giants. 1 for 10 yards, 1 for a loss. You could probably live bet this if the book gives a live bet option. If it's the end of the first quarter, that probably goes down to 0.5 or 1.5. I absolutely love this. It was 1.5 like 3 weeks ago, but I do see your point. And if you think he gets one rush attempt, I'm under the impression that we have to assume he gets 3 yards. Again, he's not just running up the gut. It's a designed play. He's got a motion across, whatever it may be. And against the Giants, he ran 3 times. I think that was with Dak as well. That was with Dak. With Cooper Rush. I forget when Cooper Rush took over. I think it was after the Niners game. No, it was after the Falcons game. The Eagles was that first game. So he's done it. He's had a rush in all 3 games with Cooper Rush. He's had a rush attempted 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 of 11 games. A great spot in my opinion. Maybe you want to do a rush and receiving, but I don't really like the yards. I like the receptions and the rushing yards. Sneaky spot for sure. I can't put that in the Mega Lotto because not on the book there, but definitely love that spot for sure. I'm gonna go Amon-Ra St. Brown for my touchdown scorers, and either Monty/Gibbs. We're gonna figure out who we like later. In this Cowboys Giants game, I'm probably not even gonna touch a touchdown score. I'm gonna be honest. I don't think that's where the money is, but if I had to pick somebody, it's gonna be CeeDee Lamb. I'm gonna put that on like the bottom. I think that's easy bread. I think they're gonna spoon feed that guy early all day long. And now we go to the Packers versus the Dolphins. Okay, the best game on the board in my opinion. I mean, it's pretty obvious. I don't know. You don't need to be a rocket scientist. 3.5-point spread, 47.5-point total. You're gonna hear the but Tua can't play in cold weather. It could be true. It could be not. I mean, he's probably been the underdog in every single one of those games as well. This is a good game where the Dolphins have been playing good football. Packers just dominated the Niners, but again, Nick Bosa didn't play. Brock Purdy didn't play. But the Packers are a good team. I think the Packers are a really underrated team. I think everyone had higher expectations of the Packers going into the season. And then when Love got hurt earlier, they kind of underperformed, or the Vikings emerged, or the Lions were just dominant. They kind of got thrown under the radar. And because we had such high expectations of a dark horse team, everyone feels like they're underperforming. I think that's kind of the vibe that I'm getting. But I think they're a solid football team. They need to win these games, especially because the Lions play this week as well. I think they may play the Lions next week. But there's a ton to go off of here. Again, cold weather galore. Short week, though. So everyone's going to play Josh Jacobs rushing yards. I do like that. But again, short week. He just ran like 23 times last week. So again, I don't know if they're going to workhorse him again, especially with the Lions coming up, but they do have a longer week to prepare with that week and a couple days of rest. So we don't know what we're going to see. I think the cold weather is indicative of a good run game from both teams. I think Tyreek Hill maybe gets some more receptions, maybe some screens to just let the wind not take over. Honestly, maybe Tyreek Hill or Waddle does a rush attempt as well. I wonder if they have rushing yards out. No, they do not. They have Mostert at 9.5 rushing yards, which is kind of crazy. He has not been running the ball at all. I don't know what happened. There's not running the ball with him at all. Jalen Wright seems to have taken over. Why is he not? Why is there no? Oh, there is a Jalen Wright line. 14.5 on FanDuel. I mean, that is a sneaky spot that I did not see until now. I don't know if I trust that running back room. God damn. But he's had 5+ rush attempts in the last 4 weeks. If he gives me 5 attempts, 3 yards a carry, the line's probably priced right. But the cold weather, I don't know. That could be a sneaky spot. If he has a rush attempts line of like 3.5, 4.5, I'd probably take that. I'm looking at it right now. No rush attempt line, but something to monitor, especially if you see them going to him early. It could be a good live bet spot in that game. We are taking Tucker Kraft, though, over 31.5 receiving yards. You can also take 32.5 here. One thing about Tucker Kraft, 9.5 yards after the catch. What are they going to do in this game? Short passes, cold weather, winds, short passes. And he's going to try to tackle that big dude in the snow. Or in the cold weather. That's going to be tough. He averages 13.4 yards per catch. And for me, that is an absolute smash spot. He can cash it in 3 catches. His receptions line of 3.5. I'm going to put him in my touchdown scorers here to make something juicy. I could go like Josh Jacobs and be kind of whatever, maybe A-Chain. But we're going to make a touchdown scorer parlay down the road. But be cautious of your bets today. That's kind of everything that we're going through. Thank you guys for tuning in. I'm going to let y'all go for Thanksgiving. It's 10 o'clock. I got to help prepare some stuff. But I will be posting some stuff throughout the day, some promos, some parlays again. See y'all later. Best of luck in your bets tonight. Peace out.